Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and here I go with another discussion video. So, are you a perfectionist? Now, this is something that's been kind of rolling around my mind for quite a while, and I wanted to make a video about it, and I figured now was the time to get on here and just discuss a few points that that have been on my mind. So, I view myself as a perfectionist, but the thing is that I think most people, if you were to ask them about my approach to doing things, they would not view me or call me a perfectionist at all, because I'm very fast-moving, fast-paced, and I tend to be a lot more easygoing and okay with things that don't go exactly right, and not necessarily halt the whole process and wait for it to be done perfectly, I guess. And I'm very sort of easygoing and lighthearted about most things, especially creative things. I'm not super serious and what would you call it? Yeah, I don't know, just basically not super serious about it. I have a very lighthearted, so I think if you were to ask somebody, they would state those things, like, yeah, like, depending on the person anyway, they would, hopefully they would say good things about me, but they would not probably view me as a perfectionist, because I'm so easygoing and sort of chill about a lot of those things that people get very serious about when it comes to their creative work and whatnot. But that's where my mind sort of differs on the definition of perfectionism, because I think there's two definitions actually, and people can tend to fall under one or the other. And the traditional perfectionist, the one that probably comes to your mind first, or the one that's most commonly referred to in this sort of context, is somebody who is very serious about what they do. They have very little room for anything to be not precise and exact with what they set out to do. And let's just take something I know, like video making. If something can't be done right now, they will not make do without it. They will wait the week, the 2 weeks, the month, whatever it is, the few days, whatever it might be, in order to be able to do something the way that they set out to do it. If they're putting together something, a video or something like that, and it's decided and agreed upon that this piece of music would just be absolutely excellent for this video, but the platform they use doesn't have it, and you gotta pay for the other platform to be able to get it, or you have to buy the copyright for it or something like that, and all this costs money. They don't have it at the moment. They won't make do with another kind of music. They will wait till the money's there. They will wait till the platform comes out, whatever, and halt the whole thing in order to accommodate that piece of music that would be perfect for the video. Or if they go out, the weather turns out to be not ideal, somebody who could have been a great help to the process can't show up or can't make it, this, that, or anything like that, they will halt the process in order to wait for the time for these things to be made available. And that's not the kind of perfectionist I am. In fact, I don't know how people can be like that, really. I would find it way too stressful, way too overwhelming on my mind, and I will admit I am a bit of an impatient person, which isn't the greatest quality, I will admit, but there's no possible way I could sustain You know, I could train myself to be like that a little bit because I know that in the professional world it's needed, but I can't sustain it for very long periods of time, and I could not live like that. And I think it just comes naturally to some people and not to others. But I still view myself as a perfectionist, and that's where I get into the second definition of a perfectionist. So I'd say somebody who's not a perfectionist at all is just completely like, they don't care one way or the other. They just want to do it. They want to get it done. They have almost way too much of a, like, even though I have a lighthearted tone to myself, there's people that have way too much of that, to the point where it's like everything's just this fun park to them, and they take nothing seriously, like they don't care. And usually you can see that in their craft too, because it's like they put very little thought into making anything as best as it can be. But somebody who's still easygoing yet a perfectionist, which I'm trying to ease into the second definition of perfectionism that I view myself as, is somebody who's not going to halt the process because this person couldn't come, or because this piece of music isn't available, or because it would look so much better with this camera or this piece of equipment that we don't have the money for right now, or that hasn't came out yet, or that we can't get in this area. We gotta go somewhere else into the city or something to get. You know what? I'm gonna make do without the equipment, but I'm still gonna make it as best as it can possibly be. Like even right now, this video, I mean, ideally, I would have I'm just carrying a small tripod right now because my other larger tripod is not where I am. So, the first definition of a perfectionist would be like, no, you know what, I'm gonna wait till I can get that tripod. I'm gonna line up a perfectly straight, nice shot with a great background and whatnot, and really scout the area for the best background whatsoever. To make this, which I had time today to make this video, I cannot get that tripod, so I just used my small tripod that's basically just the size of your hand, that still stabilizes the camera a little bit, but as you can tell, there's some shakier moments. I have to switch hands once in a while, whatnot. But the quality of it, it's not perfect, but it's as perfect as I can possibly make it with the equipment I have right now and the circumstances I'm under. This area, the forest I'm in, it's probably the furthest I have the ability to come today. If I had more time, I might go further and find a better background, but this is as far as I really have time to go on this day, so this is the best I could do for right now. So it's still perfectionism in the sense that even if it's not perfect, even if there's a lot of things that could be done better, even if the circumstances aren't 100% ideal for the aesthetic or the visual of the shot, it's not that I'm doing it this way just because I simply don't care. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. It's not that at all. It's just, it's not perfect at all, but I'm making the effort to do it as perfect as I possibly can. Sorry, this is quite amazing. I don't know if you can see that right now, but I'm just going to halt for a second because behind me is a deer. That scared me for a second. I thought, oh, there's two deers. I thought maybe a bear was coming up behind me or something, but it's actually a couple of deer. Huh, cool. Anyway, stopping the whole thing like that is probably a true perfectionist's worst nightmare, and keeping it going and not redoing it is probably the worst nightmare. But see, that's the thing, is that was something very unexpected that happened, and ideally it would be a nice crisp shot of just the deers on their own for a different video, and this being separate. But the deers are moving fast, they're going away from me now, so I don't really have time to do that. So what I just did there was my very best attempt at at making the discussion video as perfect as it can be, even though it's far from perfect, as well as the shot of the deer as perfect it can be, even though it's far from being perfect, and having no choice but to kind of, even though they are not related to each other, merge it into the same video, even though that's not ideal. Because that's the thing, is I view perfectionism a lot more healthily as just, you go out and the weather's not right, the equipment's not right, the music that would be good isn't there, whatever it may be. I keep kind of repeating the same examples, but whatever it may be, you try to accommodate those things as best as you possibly can. And if you can, go for it and do it. But don't halt the process because of that. Just make it as perfect as you possibly can. Like, imagine it's like you've only got one shot to do this. Like, there isn't a couple of weeks, there isn't a few days, you know, there isn't any of that. Like, just imagine that the universe granted you just this day or these few hours to do this, and that's all you got. Even though it's not in reality, most likely there is time further down the road that you could do it better, but just imagine that you've just been granted this one little bit of time, and it won't come back after that again. Like, if you fail this time, you failed. You cannot go back and do anything differently. Just like, even though that's not the reality, just imagine that, and then just think, okay, I'm going to do this. It's probably not going to be like exactly how I would want it to be, or as good as it could be, but it's going to be as perfect as it can possibly be for the circumstances that I'm under right now. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I think not a lot of people are speaking about that. It seems like it's sort of one way, in the sense where you're a serious, nose to the grindstone, precise perfectionist, or you're just a big goof off or something like that. And I don't really agree with that. I think that there can actually be two definitions of perfectionism, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I won't go on too much. This video is probably getting a little long now, but I will have some humility and say that I admit I am a very impatient person. I'm very high energy, very energetic, and I naturally have a veer towards, you know, the lighthearted kind of fun side of things. And maybe, you know, maybe I'm operating this way because I still want to do good work, but at the same time, I really have a hard time being that sort of stone cold serious, precise way. So maybe this is just a way that my mind and my emotions are trying to allow myself to be that sort of high energy way without putting as much work into being a bit more calm, I guess, right? I'll have some humility and admit that, but I do think people are just the way they are. And I have met a lot of people that are not perfectionists at all, that like seriously don't care about anything, and will just... And you really, like I said earlier, can see that in the quality of their work, and I don't view myself as somebody like that. I view myself as somebody who is the way I am, but yet cares about doing good work enough to make it as perfect as it can possibly be under the circumstances. So it's just a bit of a different perspective. If you are somebody on either side of this coin, or somewhere in between, or view yourself as any of these personality types that I've mentioned, this is just a little bit of a way to add some extra context that hopefully might help your mind out a little bit when you're contemplating your life and the way that you conduct your work and your creative things that you are pursuing. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope there's a little bit of advice in there for you, and I'd love to hear your comments in the section down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please come back for more.